Welcome to Cavaletto Studios. I'm Chris. Do you struggle to touch your toes? Do you have tight hamstrings, crazy tight calves? Well, in this class, we'll show you how to use a tennis ball, chair, and a foam roller to release the tension of that fascia. And by the end of class, you'll be a lot closer to reaching those toes. So let's get started. Let's reach our toes. So what I wanted you to do, we're going to improve our flexibility so we can touch our toes. Maybe you can't touch your toes, maybe you can, you want to get a little further. Line up your toes, bring them apart, maybe 1 to 2 fist distance, and they're right under the hips. I want you to just reach for your toes and check in where you can reach. Reach all the way down. And turn sideways, you can see. So you're hinging at the hips, hips back, reaching for those toes. Just kind of see where you can reach. Let your head hang heavy. Reach the fingertips to the floor. Maybe you can reach your palms. Never forcing it. Lift those toes maybe, and then let the toes go to the floor. And then slowly roll yourself all the way back up. Good. Now we're going to start with the tennis ball under the foot. Let's start with the left foot. And I want you to keep your heel on the floor and put the tennis ball under the ball of the foot. And this gently press release into that ball of the foot. Gently press release. Just check in with what you have going on in that ball of the foot. And then I want you to draw the foot side to side. You're rolling over that ball. Maybe you get a couple snap, crackle, pop, hopefully good ones that release some tension in that foot. Good. Then you're going to push the foot forward so the ball goes back into the arch of the foot. Gentle press release, and then we're going to draw it side to side. Checking in with the arch of the foot. Go the inside, the outside edge of the arch. Then bring that tennis ball closer to you. We're flipping the foot, so you're putting the ball of the foot and the toes on the floor. Go towards your heel and gently walk. I'm losing my tennis ball there. Make sure it doesn't slide out from behind you. Just gently go side to side. A little pressure so it doesn't shoot off across the floor like mine just did. You can also get like a blanket or a pillow and put it on top of that to keep it from rolling away. Excellent. Now you're going to come back. This time you're going to put same heel. We're still on the same foot. Put closer to the toes. And a little gentle squeeze and release with the toes. Lift and lower. So your left toes are mushing into the ball as you gently press down and up. Good. One last time. Draw the tennis ball from the toes to the heel, forward and back, going along the inside as well as the outside of that arch. And just feeling what's going on in that foot. Excellent. Now you're going to place both feet back on the floor. Make sure they're level, as in same spot where the end toes are in alignment, toes are forward. Reach for the toes again. Check out what's going on. Now, that left side, or the side we just rolled, maybe that arm reaches further now than the right. So you can feel a difference. So the fascia tissue connects all the way up the back line of the body. Slowly come back up. Now we're going to go to the other side. So you're going into the ball of the foot. I should have put my hair up. So I'm going to turn sideways so you can see I'm on the right foot. In the major part of the ball of the foot, press release into that tennis ball. Not so hard that you're causing any nerve pain or anything to feel discomfort. You want it to feel good. And then roll that foot side to side right on top of that tennis ball. Anything going on in that foot? Now you're on the right side. So if you're right dominant or if you have plantar fasciitis, you might be feeling some things in this foot. But all this is connective tissue, and it's going to help you get more flexibility in the back side, in those legs, and even in your back. Good. Then you're going to roll that foot slightly forward, going into the arch. Gently roll that foot side to side. Across. Yep, another snap, crackle, pop there. In case you heard it, I'm loosening things up too in that ankle joint If you have any scar tissue, if you've ever sprained your ankle or broken anything down there in that whole foot ankle complex, you might not move your foot as far. Your range of motion might be a little stuck, and that's okay. That's why we're working on this. Then you're going to bring the ball of the foot and the toes down, lift the heel off the floor, and I want you to gently, again, rock that foot, a little side to side, massaging into that heel. Not pressing so hard that you're having any pain. And that fascia tissue, everything runs down and connects underneath that heel. So that's where you will get that tender spots. Like if you wake up in the morning and you have pain when you walk and those heels are very sensitive, that is a sign or symptom of plantar fasciitis. And most people know the fascia from plantar fasciitis. It's very common knowledge on that one. All right. So now you're going to lift the foot, bring the toes on top of the tennis ball now, and just do your gentle press, squeeze, release. Lift the toes. After we press down, we're going to open and lift those toes up. We want to spread out the toes as much as you can. As much as you can. And a little gentle rock side to side. Good. And then draw that foot forward and back the whole length. Lift those toes as you go back to the heels. Get on the inside and the outside edge of that foot as you roll forward and back. Good. And then just set the tennis ball, let it roll to the side. Line up those toes again, and let's reach all the way down. See if you can reach a little further. Wow, you might feel a difference. Maybe one hip or one leg is not as tight. You can even try lifting up each toe if you can reach your toes individually. Wonderful. And then come all the way back up. Excellent. So we did the bottoms of the feet. So we're going to move up. We're going to jump way up into the hamstrings. Now this is where you're going to want your chair. All right. So I'm going to go get my chair. So now we have our chair. And as long as your chair is not on rollers, that's the main thing. You want it to be sturdy and hopefully no side handles or armrests. If you do, that's okay. You'll just work around them. Scoot towards the front of your chair and your feet are on the ground. And then what you're going to do is you're going to lift up your left leg. And we're going to start on the left side. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see. So we're lifting up and we're going to take that tennis ball and push it nice and deep underneath the leg. I'm not leaning away and going under my glutes, just way deep where the hamstring connects deep into the glute. So then when you put your leg down, you're feeling that tennis ball way down up in there below the glutes. So it's up almost to the butt cheek, but not quite. So I'm going to show, so you can kind of see it on the outside edge there. And then you're going to sit into it, and then I want you to slowly start to straighten and bend that left leg. So again, we're going to play around with that leg a little bit. And you're going to move. So I'm going to turn back to center so I can be facing you. So the tennis ball is there. So we're straightening and bending. And then you're going to start to draw the leg gently left and right. Opening and closing, sliding that leg. You're pivoting. So like if that tennis ball is here, that leg is pivoting right on top of the tennis ball. And you might even feel it gliding a little bit this way, going in closer to those sits bones so you can shift your body with it. So you're kind of turning everything. And if you find a spot that's maybe a little tender or sensitive, maybe just leave the tennis ball there. And now I'm rotating my leg by moving my foot. So it'll be here and it's not moving as much in that spot. And then you're going to move that tennis ball, sit up tall, and you're going to move the tennis ball just about an inch towards the knee. And then again, draw that leg side to side. And make adjustments on your chair if you need to. I'm just drawing that leg, start to add. I was rolling the whole leg side to side. Now I'm adding the entire movement of the leg side to side. So you're getting a little bit to the outside back edge and to the inside edge of the back of that leg, that hamstring. And then I want you to pull the knee in towards the center line of the body so that tennis ball is more towards the outside edge, and you're going to straighten and bend. Now, if it causes pain to straighten and bend, then we won't straighten and bend all the way. Just do what you can, and you can try straightening and bending as you move the leg out. So just check in different areas, bring it back across. Again, being gentle. And then we're going to move that tennis ball up. If the tennis ball gets too close to the edge, just scoot yourself back a little bit. Depends on how big your chair is. You might just have a little bench. A bench is completely fine also. And then up and down. And just play around with it. Move that leg side to side. I'll turn it sideways again so you can see that tennis ball is out, down, further down my leg. And I'm now sliding side to side. So I'm getting, and don't forget our posture, we want to sit up tall. We tend to slouch, especially when we get into our hamstring. It's like, oh, because that's what we do. We sit at our desk, we get all slouchy. And then center, and we're going to straighten and bend. Anybody find a spot? Oh, I got a trigger point right there. This hamstring, I'll tell you, my left one has just been talking to me lately. I'm going out to the side a little bit, and now I'm going back in towards the center line, straightening and bending my leg. Play around, explore what feels okay to your hamstring. We don't want to cause pain, and then I'm going to move that tennis ball further down, and then I'm drawing that leg side to side. Just when I move side to side, I'm kind of finding what's going on back there in that hamstring. I might get to a spot and go, okay, I think I need to move. So as you walk up and down a hill, stairs, you're hiking, you're sitting and standing, you're bending and straightening that knee with all those movements, and look what's going on with that hamstring. It's working very hard. Now, the thing about hamstring is that it connects over two joints. It goes through the knee and through the hip. It attaches above into that hip. So you've got two different joints that hamstring is controlling. So that's why it's got a big job. So we need to take care of it. All right, we're moving down a little bit further, and I do hear people say a lot, oh, my hamstrings are so tight. Yeah, probably because we're sitting on them all the time, right? And then side to side, maybe rotating, straightening and bending that leg. So if you're traveling, like you're driving in a car and you're the passenger, not the driver, but you're the passenger, have a tennis ball in the car with you. If you're on a plane, you can be moving that leg, keeping things the blood flow moving. It's kind of nice to do after a long trip. There goes my, yeah. And almost there. So we're going very close. So you might have to scoot back on your chair as you get closer to the knee. Don't worry about behind the knee. We're going to take care of, we're not going behind the knee right now with the tennis ball. We're just getting close to that edge there. So make sure it doesn't pop off the front of your chair and go rolling away. We're almost done with that leg. Excellent. So when you're done with that leg, you can just lift it up, maybe lean forward a little bit, see if you can feel a nice stretch through the back of the leg. We will stretch them more in a bit. Maybe rotate that ankle. I bet you can feel it all the way up when you rotate that ankle. It's, again, all attached. Let's try the other side. So scoot yourself forward again. Now we're going to the right side. And again, you're going way high up. So you're sitting on your booty. You're going to lift that leg, and we're going to slide it in really close to where that hamstring connects up into the glute. So it's super close there. And then you're going to start by straightening and bending, moving the leg straight, moving the leg bent, and moving it back and forth. So that tennis ball is deep in there. And then don't forget the side to side. Now when you go side to side, you might getting that tennis ball in close to those sits bones. It can be a little discomforting, so be mindful of how far in you go with that tennis ball. That's it, you got it. Are you feeling it? I can tell a difference on the right and left side, can you? It's one side might be a little more tender than the other, especially if you're dominant, or that side's tighter. Good, and now we're going to move that tennis ball closer towards the knee, a little higher up. Draw that leg side to side, side to side. And then straighten and bend. Check in with your posture. If you want, you can lean back against the, if you have a back on your chair, you're welcome to lean back on it. If you lean forward, it might be a little intense because it does rotate those hips. So that might be a little too intense if you're leaning forward while you're doing this. So again, wanting to be gentle. So you want to stay nice and tall, spine. Good. I'm going to move back to the front and then move that leg, the tennis ball up the leg a little higher. And then we're going our side to side. Moving that knee, moving that whole leg, and now let's go straighten and bend. And remember to try different angles. So maybe you're straightening and bending out to the side, maybe to the center, maybe across the body, so that tennis ball is moving to different areas in the back of the leg. And that fascia tissue, it wraps around kind of like this, around the muscle spindles, the muscle fibers, and as we move, we get into different, deeper layers of that fascia tissue. That's why one spot, depending on where you are, can be like way more sensitive than the other. Moving that tennis ball closer to the knee and then straighten and bend. And then move that leg to one side and then to the other side. Feels so good. Anybody have to commute a long way? Take that tennis ball to work with you and put it on that chair. Again, make sure you don't have a rolling chair and you end up rolling all over the place. Well, as long as you're sturdy in your chair, right? And then side to side. Or maybe you're working from home now and you have to sit at your desk all day. Get that tennis ball in there and just work out those hamstrings. Oh, got a spot there. Got a spot. Rotating. Good, keep working your way down, getting up towards the knee a little bit further. If you're not sure, just move that leg side to side. As the hamstring comes down, you might feel it more on the outside one spot, on the inside, back on the other. That's normal. Could be the opposite on both sides. And then straighten and bend. If you've got knee pain, it could be caused because you might have a really tight hamstring, or maybe it's the hip. Maybe your hip is tight or being rotated because that hamstring is super tight on one side more than the other. Good. One more time. So just again, I'm on my last part right by that knee. So just working your way down. You might have a longer upper leg than me. Maybe it's shorter. Maybe you're already at the knee. That's all right. Just work your way. Because when we're done with this, we're actually going to move the chair out of the way and we're going to go to the floor. Okay, so then we're done. Go ahead and take out that tennis ball, just straighten out the leg, lean into it, rotate that ankle, and just feel the difference. Can you feel that all the way up? Yeah. Excellent. So you're going to keep your tennis ball, you're going to want your foam roller, we're going to get rid of the chair, and I'm going to meet you back down on the mat. Okay, hopefully you have moved your chair. I'll give you a moment. If you haven't, quick, move your chair out of the way and meet me on the floor. And we're going to stretch out those hamstrings. But what I want you to do is bend your left knee, because we started there. Slide your right ankle under your left knee. So then we keep a little bit of space there. It's not going to lock out. And I want you to gently lean your belly towards your thigh. Good. And then just reach your arms forward. And just see where you're at. Maybe wiggle the foot. So I'm rocking my left foot side to side, the heel's on the floor. Just notice where you're feeling that in the back of the thigh. Maybe lean a little more forward. Some of you might be like all the way down. Some of you might be up here. That's okay. That's the idea. It's just to see where we can get the back of that leg to stretch out today and loosen up. I've been trying to get my left hamstring to loosen because it's been a little annoying and talking to me lately, so I figure might as well have you all join me and let's get this done together. Get those, see, maybe flex your foot. We're going to get all the way down into the calf and the ankle as well. All the connective tissue that inhibits us from getting that leg to lengthen more so we can get our belly to our thigh more. And your back might be a little bit of an issue, but right now we're just focused on lower leg today. On the back side. Then we're going to sit ourselves up nice and tall and go ahead and switch legs. So now I'm bending my right knee and I'm sliding my left ankle under. We're going to sit up tall, flex your right ankle, and then start to hinge forward, leaning into it. Nice and tall, and then wiggle, wiggle. Now you might notice a difference, and here you might be feeling the difference in the calf because we haven't worked the calf yet. So maybe you're saying, oh, now my calf is a little tighter. Well, just keep a mental note of which calf might feel a little tighter because we're gonna get to that area. If you have plantar fasciitis, I mentioned that before, that connective tissue that runs. Well, if you got knots or tight calf, that also can inhibit or cause some tightness down here under the foot or some inflammation. So again, we'll be getting all that taken care of. If you've had any ankle sprains or breaks in the foot, we're going to work on our mobility of our ankle as well. Just a bit. All right, come all the way up. All right. So go ahead and keep your right leg straight, and we're going to bend the left knee. The foot's going to go on the floor. You're taking one tennis ball, and we are going to put it right up behind the knee. But what I want you to do is bring it towards, like if you put your finger underneath your knee on the left side, you're going to feel a tendon. You're going to feel that hard spot there. So I want you to put your tennis ball behind the knee, but sticking out a bit so it's going to hit that tendon there. And then just bend the knee and pull it in. And if you have slippery pants on, you might have to hold the tennis ball there. And you're just going to hug the knee, hug it, and then sit up tall. And then just do a little, my hand, right hand is on the left shin. And you're sitting tall, and I'm rotating that front of that shin. Just a tiny little movement. Just massaging it out. So you don't want to have pain there. Just a little massage. Now I want you to hold it, pause, and then squeeze, release. Squeeze, release. I'm squeezing the calf, the left gastrocnemius, the calf muscle. I want you to squeeze it and then relax it. Squeeze it and relax it. Squeeze it and relax it. You might find some spots down there in the calf. Anybody? I just did. That's why I mentioned it. I'm like, oh, maybe you're with me and you're feeling that. Good, one more. Now, release that. Now take that tennis ball. Same thing, going behind the knee, but this time sticking out from the inside. I'm going to turn around so you can see. My right leg is straight. So now it's kind of, again, you feel that tendon right underneath there. If you stick your hand there, you can feel it. Pull that tennis ball in. I'm just holding it. I'm into behind the right knee, left knee, excuse me. We're on the left, same knee. Hold that tennis ball in place underneath the knee and pull the shin and the knee into the chest. And then I want you to rotate with your left hand that shin and the calf. Just a little bit. It's not a big movement, just a couple. Just push, return, push, release, push, release. Good. Now, squeeze, release that calf. Squeeze, release. Feel that difference. It's working a bit. Yep. Might be a little tender. Don't squeeze too hard. Almost there. Excellent. And then go ahead and release. Now just bend your right leg out to the side and lean into it. And see if there's a little bit of a difference there. You might be able to get your leg a little straighter because we don't have that foot underneath, obviously, is one reason. But we also loosened up some of those ligaments and those spots behind the knee. All right. Shall we try the other side? I agree, we should. So take that tennis ball, find the outside of the right knee, place the tennis ball behind the knee, right underneath it. So it's underneath the knee. Bend that knee so it's squishing the tennis ball underneath the knee. Sticking out just enough, and then we're going to use that hand, that left hand on the right shin, to just rotate a little bit on the front of that shin so you're feeling it pushing in and out of that calf muscle. That's it. And then relax it and squeeze, release, squeeze, release. Maybe a little different sensation than you've done before. Just working those areas. Maybe you've been working your calves and they're tight. So make sure you're not cramping up. Stop and get a drink of water if you are, and you can always flex your foot and move through it. All right, last one. Now let's do the inside. So same leg, I'm still on the right, I'm just turning around. So the ball is a little bit behind the knee, but just a tiny bit sticking out to the side. So I can get in there. Hold on to the right shin, sit up tall, and then rotate just a little bit. My pants are a little on the slippery side, so I have to hold my tennis ball in place. Yeah. And you want something soft. We're sitting up tall. Good, and then relax and squeeze, release, squeeze, release. If you feel comfortable with it behind your knee more, that's fine too. Kind of play around with where it can go, and it's not shoved up super, super tight, because when you bend the knee, you're gonna have that little bit of space, so it's not pressing up, it's pressing to the front and back of the leg. The back side of the calf and the back side of the hamstring is what I mean by front and back. The lower and upper leg. In case you're doing this and just listening and not being able to see, and that's okay. All right, we're gonna release the tennis ball, go ahead and set it to the side. Let's see how our flexibility is. So bend that left knee out to the side, flex the right leg, and just lean into it. If you wanna move the leg a little, just notice, like, wow, it might feel a little looser. Maybe you can lean into it more. It feels so good. Maybe you can touch your toes, and you can wiggle them. Yeah. That's it. All right, so then we're gonna come all the way back up. Now we're going to go, we worked on the back side of the upper leg, so we're gonna get a little bit into IT band. When our hips are super tight, sometimes it inhibits our hips from rotating enough to get us hinging forward. So an easy way to get to the IT band is, let's drop onto the left elbow, and I'm gonna be on my left hip. I'm going to lean to my left hip and place the tennis ball at the top of the leg on the outside, just almost like we did in the chair, but it was behind the leg on the hamstring, so now it's on the outside. Bend your right knee and place the foot flat on the floor so you have control. And then I want you to just glide that left leg, like you're pulling the knee towards your chest, foot stays on the floor, and then push it back to where it was. So like bending and straightening your leg, but having that tennis ball on the outside edge. So not too bad, right? Good. So we're going to then move that tennis ball down further, tilt a little more to your side, and draw that knee again, forward and back. Just a little forward and back. Now we're gonna straighten out the left leg, and I want you to now instead rotate just the body. So you're staying on that hip and you're moving the leg up and down. Good. Move that tennis ball back up the leg a little higher towards the hip and repeat the up and down. And just move the tennis ball where you feel comfortable. You might have to bend the knee a little more, because maybe it bothers you too much to have it straight. Good. And one more time. Lean back away from the tennis ball and then lean towards it, on and off. So we're just starting off with this upper leg, outer side of the leg section, the IT band, iliotibial band. Nice. Now we're gonna go further down. This time we're gonna bend the knee more. Really bend that left knee so the tennis ball goes to the outside edge. Let's push ourselves all the way up, because when we get to the lower half of the leg, we can get a little more control here. And now I can draw that whole leg again, up and down, moving through my hip. My left foot is on the floor. And then you can even straighten and bend that left leg, if that feels okay to you. Now, if you want, you can even add more pressure with that right hand on that left inner thigh and use that left foot to push yourself forward and back. So it's not a big movement, just a little bit getting the side. Now we're gonna go find your knee, and I want you to roll the tennis ball along the side of the leg away from the knee, probably about 2 to 2 inches, about 2 inches. And then again, sliding the leg, using that foot on the floor, maybe by pointing and bending the ankle, the foot, the left foot, pivoting, rotating, using that right hand to press down gently on the tennis ball. That's pushing the leg on the tennis ball. Are we feeling anything? Yeah. Okay, now option is to try bend your back leg, because that's going to give you a little more control. Little bit of a straighten and bend. If that causes pain in the knee, move the tennis ball a little higher up away from the knee. And then you can try bending and straightening. Can you feel how that attaches like everywhere? Some of you might even feel it all the way to the inner thigh, up into the hip, because it affects each other. And it might be really working to stabilize. Excellent. We're going to take that off. Let's try the other IT band. All right, so we're going to drop all the way to the elbow, right? So I'm on my right hip now, and I'm going to lean back so I can place that tennis ball below my glutes, on my leg, the outside of the leg. And then you're going to draw the knee forward, the right knee towards your chest, the right foot staying down there on the floor. So you're just drawing it up and down. Anybody feel that? Right side might be a little different. Good. And then you're going to move that tennis ball down and draw that knee up and down. And be gentle with the body. Be very gentle. Just notice what you're feeling here. Try to smile while you're rolling your IT band. That's always a nice challenge right there. One more, and then we'll get to the middle of the leg there. So now we're here towards the middle. We're going to do what we did before. So now what we're going to do is we're going to straighten the leg. I'm going to roll onto it and off, on and off. So I'm rotating my left leg towards the right and then back off again. And then I'm going to slide it back up a little higher. The tennis ball is coming back up. And then I'm rotating onto the right. Oh, and left hip. That's a different one right there. I just know. Oh, I found a surprise spot there on the right side. So I'm not going to lean as intensely into it because you don't want any nerve pain or sharp pain or anything like that. And then we're moving upwards. We're finishing up. So rolling on and off. Are you feeling this different on the right like I am? Put in comments. I'd love to hear, how is your IT band today? Are we finding some spots? And I want to also know at the end if you are able to reach your toes easier. And then we're coming off and releasing. Now we're going to sit all the way back up. Now you're going to take that tennis ball and we're going down closer towards the knee, but roll it up about 1 inch. Good. And that top leg is bent and the foot is on the floor. That would be your back left leg. And do a gentle bend the knee, slide and release. Just moving along that spot and then straighten and bend the right leg. And again, playing around with what you're feeling on this side. If you've got knee issues, this might be too much, and maybe just holding it on the spot and maybe doing a little movement is completely fine. This is where you get to explore what works for your body. If you're having pain, then I want you to back off. Move that tennis ball a little bit higher and then straighten and bend that leg. And maybe you feel something a little bit more here. And again, you can even press. You can put pressure on it. You can move that leg. I'm pointing and flexing. That was my ankle that just cracked. It released. See, just moving my leg. We haven't even gotten to the ankle yet, so it's all attached. I keep telling you. So moving there, adding a little pressure. You can straighten and bend. I'm moving a little bit higher just to get towards the area that we haven't quite gotten to in the middle of that IT band. We are almost there. Good, we're going to release. Place the tennis ball aside just for a moment. Now what I want you to do is straighten out your legs. Let's find our nice tall seated posture. We've been stretching one leg at a time, but now we're going to do both. So I want you to sit up as tall as you can. Rotate those hips forward, soften the knees. I want you to bend the knees and just lean forward, just a slight bend. And just reach to wherever you can. Then let the legs shake them out. Good. Maybe let your head drop towards your knees. And we're not done yet, so let's see if we can get a little further. Let's see where your arms can reach. Maybe a gentle rock side to side. You can hold your toes, you can hold your ankles, you can hold under your knees. You can even place your hands on the floor. Maybe you're up here and just leaning forward. Maybe you're not quite to your toes. That's okay. That's why we're doing this, right? Eventually, it will happen. All right, so we've tested out our forward fold to see where we were. All right, so now we're going to move down into the ankle area. So this one's a little different. You're going to take that tennis ball and you have that bone on the ankle. So the bone right there, I'm on my right side, so I'm going to go on the right. You can do whatever side you want because we're going to do both. The ball is going to go below the ankle or in front of it, and I'm going to bend the knee. So you're basically placing your ankle bone on the tennis ball, but it's right in front of that ankle bone. Does that make sense? The part that's sticking out, right in front of it. Okay, then you're going to place your hand on top of the ankle. Good. And then just gently press that foot. Like we did with the foot on the tennis ball this way, you're doing the same thing with the ankle. So you're just pushing it like it's massaging right onto the ankle bone, right into that ankle bone. So there's a little bit of a soft spot right in there, and that's where that tennis ball is going to go, right in there. Now we're going to add to that. So what I want you to do is keep your hand on top of the ankle, take your opposite hand onto the heel, and pull. So you're pushing your heel towards the ankle and the top of your ankle rotating. So almost like this. You're twisting them so they bend around that tennis ball. Yeah, I know they're not really bending around the tennis ball. It's a very, very, we're talking like centimeters, not even inches here. It's a minute little movement, but just adding that little extra, helping in out with that Achilles tendon area. Good. And then just lift your foot off. Now, if you can't hold your leg, you can just, you can bring it in front and move it, tap it side to side. That works too, if you would like. Good. Excellent. Now, let's try the other ankle. So we're going to switch sides. And you're going to place the tennis ball. So I'm on my left ankle now. So whatever ankle you were on, switch sides. I'm placing the tennis ball underneath the ankle bone, or right in front of it and under it. And I'm doing a gentle rotation as I push. Oops, I moved my foot too far. As you wrap that, again, we're moving centimeters. It's just a gentle press into that tennis ball. And you don't want to have any nerve pain. If you've got scar tissue from a sprained or injured ankle from a long time ago, this might be very challenging for you. So just do what you can, especially if that ankle bone, if that bone is sticking far forward, we're just helping assist it to loosen up a little. And then to keep your hand on top of your ankle, other hand is going to your heel, and you're rotating into it, into that ball. So like you're squishing, wrapping around that tennis ball. That's what we're doing, loosening up that ankle. If anything, this just helps you get more mobility. And if you wear high heels, this is a great one to do after you have worn high heels. You want to loosen up those ankles because that's a big job for that ankle to hold that position for a long period of time. All right. So we're going to loosen that up. Go ahead and rotate, rotate, rotate. Okay, I wanted you to try it. Let's see here. One more. I skipped a part. I will admit I skipped one thing. I want you to take that tennis ball directly behind the knee again. Before we were on the outside and the inside. I want you to go in the middle, hug the knee, keep your heel on the floor, lift the toes and keep the heel down and just pivot side to side. So it just gets a little more into the middle of that calf muscle, that gastroc. So many things to remember to show you all. Sometimes I might skip a section, so we can always go back. It's all connected, right? So it appreciates us no matter what we do. One more tap, side to side, and then we're just going to change legs. So once you go behind the other knee, hug it in, sit tall, heel on the floor, tap that foot side to side. Feels so good. And again, if you got tight calves, or you worked them the other day, or you've been wearing heels, great one right there. Almost there. Now after this, we are going to get really down into that gastroc and the calf and the lower leg area, and we're going to use the foam roller. Now if you don't have a foam roller, you can also do this with a tennis ball. It can be a little difficult because the tennis ball might shoot out to the sides. Unless you have like 2 tennis balls and you remember those old long socks, you can tie them in a sock together, 2 of them. That works too. So let's take that tennis ball out, and I want you to press it to the side. Let's check our range of motion again. So sit up nice and tall. And the idea of checking your range of motion when you reach forward is to see that you're improving, right? So let's lean into it. Can you tell a difference? Maybe notice where your hands can reach and see if you can, next time after we do the calf muscles, maybe you can reach a little more forward. So you're gonna lift through the pelvis, like lift the upper body, rotate those hips so the belly is being pulled to the front. And you might feel it in the back of the hamstrings. You don't wanna be like flopping forward. Open up that chest as you lean forward. And then you can start to round through your upper back to see if you can get a little more distance into that stretch. And then come all the way up. All right, last but not least, this is our last part. So we're going to do the calf with that foam roller. All right, so placing, we're gonna do one at a time. Now, when we do this one at a time, you can keep just one leg up, or if you would like a little more pressure, cross the other leg. Now I want you to turn, so I'm starting on my right, so whatever leg is on the bottom, turn to the outside edge of that leg. And I want you to just gently bend and straighten on the outside of the right leg. So I'm on my right leg, so I'm gonna show you. If I flex my foot, I'm getting this part like right here. So remember we were here, we were in front of the bone with the tennis ball, but now we're coming back up behind here. There's a ligament, there's tendons, fascia, lots going on there. So place that foot there and then gentle press release. Now if it's too much with the leg on top, you do not have to have it on top. The left leg doesn't have to be on the right. You don't need that pressure of both if it's too much. And then I want you to pause here and rotate that ankle. Rotate, rotate. So you're gonna do about 3 or 4 rotations with the ankle one way and then 3 or 4 rotations with the ankle the other way. And then we're going to slide not the hips, the foot to the left. So you're going on the inside edge and you're bending and straightening. So really massaging out both sides, both back sides of the Achilles tendon right above the ankle. And then I want you to pause and circle that ankle about 3 or 4 times one way and 3 or 4 times the other way. And you might start getting a snap, crackle, pop. And then we're going to have that foot right to the center, pointing up to the sky, and then I want you to bend and straighten. Now, if it's hard for you to sit up, like my shoulders are going way too close to my ears, you can sit taller, you can go on your knuckles, and you can also drop back to your elbows or lay all the way on your back. And I might just lay on my back for a little bit because it's really much more comfortable. So if you watch TV, you have some downtime, just lay on the floor and roll out those calves. So I'm just bending and straightening. Good, now I want you to roll that roller higher up the calf. So you're moving, you were doing this down section. I want you to go to the middle of the lower leg. So you're below the gastroc, but above that ankle part. So basically right in the middle. And place that roller, turn your hips to the right, and then bend and straighten again. So whatever leg you're on, so you're on the outside edge, and then I want you to rotate that ankle. And then reverse rotation, and then rotate that whole leg to the left, and bend and straighten. So we're really isolating here. We're just, and you're slowly rolling. When I say bend and straighten, it's bend and straighten. It's slow. It's not fast because we want to be slowly moving over that tissue and then rotating the ankle as we pause and then changing the direction and then bringing that leg to the center. It's straight and then do a gentle bend and straighten. So we got both the outsides and we're getting the middle back side of that calf at the back of that lower leg. Plantar fasciitis, this is a great way to be preventative and to take away some of that pain. All right, we're still working. You can stay on your back. I'm just gonna sit up so I can see you better. And we're gonna bring that roller higher up so it's right in the middle of our calf muscle, our gastroc. Turn the leg to the right and we're gonna do a bend and straighten. Now you're in the meaty part of the calf. Maybe you have a knot, maybe you don't, maybe you have some tender spots. Everyone's a little different. Then we're gonna pause and rotate the ankle to the right 3 times, to the left. And you think, why are we taking so long to do the whole calf? Well, there's a lot going on. And you've got the calf gastroc and it comes up the middle, but it splits and separates and goes up the two sides. So we need to get the different areas. And then turn your leg to the left and then bend and straighten. It's not about just foam rolling the whole leg going whoop, whoop, whoop. It doesn't work that way. It's kind of like if you took your toothbrush and went toot, 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 in and out, too fast. You got to take care of the tissue. And then pause and rotate the ankle 3 times one way, 3 times the other. See, I started speeding up there. It's like, oh, hurry, hurry. We don't need to hurry. Back to center, little bend and straighten. You're right at the top of the gastroc. Good. Now we have really worked through the back side of the right leg, hamstring, IT band, everything. So before we go to the left, I'm going to have you come on to all fours. And we're going to stretch and hold this posture. So I want you to take the right toe to the back of the mat, tuck your ball of your foot under and press into it. Open up those fingertips and just press back. And let's just hold this for a moment. Good, so you really feel that stretch. Now lift up just slightly so you can get a little extra through maybe the hamstring, ankle, and then lower all the way back down. Excellent, now let's switch sides. So we're gonna finish up on the left. So you're taking the lower section. So when you bend your leg, you're not hitting the heel. I'm gonna cross my right leg over, turn the leg to the outside edge, and we're going to bend and straighten. Bend and straighten. And notice the difference on the outside back edge of that left leg where you're feeling it. And then pause and then rotate the ankle. I definitely got some spots there. Whew. And then, yep. And then turn that whole leg to your right. So you're on the inside edge, bend and straighten. And you're being gentle. If your foam roller is too hard, please feel free to wrap a towel around it, especially if you're on a leg that has plantar fasciitis and this is super tender. You want to be gentle. And then pause and rotate the ankle 3 times. If you are starting to get dry mouth from all this foam rolling, make sure you drink lots of water because it's very good. This is hydrating your tissue, and so you need to have that fluid, the hydration coming in. It's like squeezing a sponge and you need to refill it with that fresh water, fresh nutrients. Bring the leg back to center, bend and straighten. You might even feel blood flow to the feet when you do this. Okay, so we're gonna move the roller up. Now it's going to the middle section of the left leg. Turn the leg open, cross the right leg over the left, and then bend and straighten. And then pause and rotate the ankle. Slower is better, other direction. So when you're trying to hurry through things, the body tenses and clenches up. So you want to relax it so the tissue can release and enjoy. Go ahead and switch sides. Go to the inside of that left leg. Just like if you went to the massage therapist. If you were all tensed up, she'd be like, okay, I can't get your muscles or anything to even relax and move. So that's not happening, so we really want to relax. Good, rotate that ankle. You're almost done, and then we're gonna see if you can touch your toes, or at least get a little closer. Back to center, up and down, straighten and bend. And then we're going to the very top of that calf, right in the middle. Turn your leg to the left, so we're on the outside edge. Bend and straighten. Isn't this fun? Again, maybe you're watching TV, jump back and watch this again. If you have gone on a big hike, if you've worked out, if you've been cycling, get these tissues to loosen up and just practice them. Good, oh, don't forget to rotate the ankle. See, I almost skipped one right there. And then rotate that whole leg to the left, bend and straighten. And then rotate that ankle. And then back to the center, right in the middle, bend and straighten. Now we are gonna stretch that calf one more time, just like we did before. So when you are done, we're gonna slide that roller out of the way. Good, it's come to all fours. And then take your left toe to the back of the mat and just press it in. You're always welcome to be on your elbows or have your roller roller under your elbows or your forearms. Now if you're up like this, up with your left hip up, draw that left hip down, line it up, and then maybe lift up a little higher, like you're about to take off on a run or a sprint, but your leg of course would be closer. And then lower back down. Now I want you to separate your knees, feet together, lower your hips to your heels. Let's take a child's pose. So just one last stretch. We're going to really stretch the arms and the upper back. And just lower your head to the floor. And just to help you get one last couple inches on there. Good. And then we're going to come all the way up. Now, let's start by sitting back nice and tall. Straighten out your left, bend your right leg and let it fall open. Nice and tall, flex that left foot. Sit up tall, rotate your chest towards that left knee and then just reach it forward. Now maybe you're again just here, that's okay. Maybe you need to bend your knee. I'm just curious where you are. Did you get closer to that foot? Is your belly closer to the thigh? Can you feel the back of those hamstrings and those calf muscles? Can you get your nose closer towards your knee or your forehead? Just try. Just give it a try, see where you're at. Explore. Nice. Now we're going to come all the way back up because we're going to try the other leg and then we're doing both together. So once you're there, yeah, now lift. That left knee is bent out to the side. Rotate towards that right knee and then just melt towards it. Make adjustments if you need to shift your hips. You can do that. Get your belly to your thigh. And again, notice where you feel this. And then reach. And then draw your head towards your knee. Maybe you feel it more in the back. Maybe you're tight in the leg. Everybody's a little different. Right now, this is just about our leg flexibility. And yes, your back can inhibit you on how far you go forward. That's a whole nother class. You'll have to check out another video for upper body. And then you can do both, and then you'll really be super loose. So now we're gonna flex both feet, nice and tall. Find those sits bones, pull those glutes out. Can you feel it? You're taller, right? Just doing that. Start to hinge forward. Feel the belly lifting and leaning towards your thighs. And then reach the arms forward. You can always shake out the legs and then see where you can go. Can you bring your head towards your knees? Anybody a little closer? I definitely am. I know I could not get my head between my knees before, but it's there now. Wiggle those toes. I want you to take 2 long, deep, gentle breaths here. Try to relax your shoulders. Try not to force anything. And then walk yourself up. Now I'm curious, shall we stand and see where you are if you can touch your toes? So I want you to come all the way up. See how it is to stand. Walk on your feet a little bit. Walk it out, walk it out. Notice how you're feeling. Okay, now before we reach for our feet, we got to do an IT band stretch. So I want you to take your left leg and I want you to wrap it around behind, wrap your left leg behind your right. All right, so you can feel that left IT band. You're going to sit up nice and stand up nice and tall. Place your right hand on your hip to support, and then I want you to push your left hip over to the side. Now slightly bend your both knees, and then try to twist your upper body slightly towards your right, and maybe reach your right arm over across your body. So you're getting a little extra twist and stretch all the way through that IT band. And smile. You're welcome to go overhead. If you want to reach it over your head, that's even more intense. And then release. Good. Now let's try the other leg. Right leg behind the left. This is really just getting all of that tissue. Think of a sponge. We're squeezing it out. Left hand on the hip. Shift your hips to the right. Bend both knees slightly. Start to tilt your right shoulder slightly across the body to the left and reach the arm across. So this is a gentle way to get into that IT band stretch. It attaches all the way up into you can feel it. Those hips all are working, or you can reach it overhead all the way overhead. And enjoy. Don't let your toes come up. Think of the inner arches of your feet pressing to the floor, and then release. Good. Let's check in where we were when we first started. So your toes are about 1 to 2 fist distance apart, and your feet are facing directly forward. Don't let them turn out. We want them straight. That's how you should be walking every day also. Take a deep breath. Inhale, reach, open the arms. Exhale, reach for the floor. Reach for those toes. Can you tell a difference? Are you more flexible? Are you reaching lower? Yes. Can you feel, maybe shift your body between your toes and your heels and notice the difference. And then when you're ready, you can roll all the way back up. You did it. You finished. Hopefully you can reach your toes way easier than you did before, on the floor or standing up. So when you go about each day, make sure your toes are facing forward even when you walk, because that is going to help your alignment, not only with the hamstrings and the hips and your posture. Take a deep breath. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, palms to heart space. Thank you for joining me today. Namaste.